Floating World is a series of ongoing installations that uses what we call Ephemeral Tech. It's like an innovative new use of technology that doesn't rely on the traditional digital interface like screens or projections, but uses ephemeral elements like fog and bubbles to create an ephemeral, fleeting experience.
We've been working with making fog rings, which are spinning vortexes, and shooting them across the space. The next evolution of this work we recently did was we had those physical fog rings pass into the digital realm. It's really creating a moment where we can see the threshold between our physical world and the digital world. And the digital world in this case is kind of a live generated live code that is responding to the physical fog rings. So when the fog rings enter it, they ripple the water and move towards the sunset. Also, the lighting in the room is mirroring the lighting color of the digital world. So there's this interplay. You can blow fog rings with your mouth, but there wasn't a machine around that was doing it. And so we had to create a machine that did that, and we call that a fog cannon. And essentially it is like making an automated robot version of somebody blowing a fog ring. And although it's relatively simple to do with your mouth, it actually requires a lot of technology to kind of replicate that in a machine that is left to independently fire that every day. It's not really about what we want to express. We want to create a moment for people where they could draw multiple interpretations of it. We want to create a feeling of something that might feel like nature, but is also unnatural, that feels like it might be alive even. Well, I'd say that we're often inspired by experiences maybe in nature, where like the cherry blossom in Japan, for example, is something that happens every year for just 2 weeks, and there's a certain kind of melancholy there's a joy and there's a beauty, and it's made more profound by the awareness that it's fleeting, that it will die in a week. How many of those will you experience in your life? That's something that we're interested in creating using technology.
This installation is called Beyond the Horizon. We have made 12 custom-made machines that create fog-filled giant bubbles that kind of drift in and out of darkness. And then it bursts into creating a cloud in the room. And it's inspired by those cloudscape in the Asian art, which symbolizes kind of this connection between the earth and the celestial world.
I would say that the giant bubbles has been a machine that we've been working on for something like 5 years. It's very quick to get an idea, but the execution of the idea and the opportunity to do it in a big way takes a long time and a lot of work. So there's always technical difficulties, because the more complicated you make a system, if it's refilling automatically, if it's sensing whether there's a bubble skin there or not, if there's all kinds of systems that you put in to make it a more sophisticated system and more autonomous, then the problems become more complex as well. I think technology has always played a really important role in the arts, and when there's been a breakthrough in art history, there's often been through a breakthrough in technology. I mean, it goes back to the beginning of art, like with cave paintings, with standing stones and the pyramids, with the Bronze Age, and you look at bronze cast sculptures, that's a technology. So I'd say that that's no different, and we're really interested in working on the edge of what's possible to create new art.
I come from architecture background, and Alex from fine art background, and we met when we were studying at the Royal College of Art in London. When we were still students, we founded a studio called Studio Swine, which has a very experimental approach to design. It was very hands-on approach, because we were very much focused on exploring materials and new system of making, and that led us to travel around the world, create projects and films that kind of reflected our curiosity and our passion for design. And then around 2015, we became more and more interested in exploring technology, and in 2020 it kind of evolved into creating a practice which specialized in large-scale interactive ephemeral installations. It was about exploring new ways of using technology that was more kind of impermanent, and that was the birth of A.A. Murakami. The process is very organic and intuitive, so we don't really have a set roles, but we both have an objective and we try to work towards it by thinking about what material, what kind of mood that we want to evoke, and then we start making things and we contribute where our strengths lie. But it's a totally collaborative process and it's always evolving.
It's actually something that we don't spend any time thinking about and we're not really aware of because it is such an organic process. We ultimately both end up making work that neither of us would have thought of or been capable of independently. That's what's exciting about working with people, is you end up doing something you wouldn't even know that you're going to do. Our conversations when we're discussing a work are always a mixture of discussion and drawing simultaneously. Azusa will have an idea and I won't really understand it until she draws it for me, and vice versa. And that's a very fluid thing that will take place. We don't think that far ahead, we're just doing what most interests us and what we're most excited about. Generally, you're going with your gut. If you're excited about it, there's a feeling that other people might be as well.